I hung out with your mom today. Did you know that? I was with your mom at Starbucks when you texted me.
Aw, that's fun.
Yeah.
Small but mighty,
You think so?
I think so.
We can start.
Yeah, we can get.
Yeah, sure. Alrighty, we're gonna get started. So we're gonna do I Don't Live.
All I your word, because I love you, I love your word because I long for you. Come lift my gaze, incline my heart to you. Better than gold, sweeter than honey to the taste. It brings me life, it's my delight to see your face. I love your word. Because I love you, Lord, is my freedom, my life when I've lost my way. Like a treasure I will see your wisdom, and my lips will pour out your praise. I love your word because I trust in you. With my whole heart, I want to follow you. Better than gold, sweeter than honey to the taste. It brings me life, it's my delight to seek your face. I love your word because I love you, Lord. I love your word because I love you.
All right, you guys can go ahead and take a seat.
Okay, hello. Oh, Shima said hello. I didn't hear anybody else. Okay, we're going to get right into our first groups. So up here we've got Team Laramie and Boston. Over here we've got Nairobi and Colombia, India and London, Malawi and Vietnam. All right, so let's jump into those groups. If I could have Vietnam, don't be the one that starts here. And is somebody helping with London tonight? You're doing London. Okay, so let's start with London in this group and Malawi in that group, because we're going to highlight India and Vietnam in the second phase. All right, so if we could start Malawi over there, London over there. Okay, ready? Break. Okay, am I on? Hello, hello. All right, I'm going to walk you guys through a little bit of our trip to India and Vietnam. And so you guys don't have to move too much. If you can just turn around so you can see a screen. I just want to walk you through what's going on there and kind of what God did on this trip. It was an amazing trip in a lot of different ways, and two sections of the trip were very different. But I'm going to start with what we did in India. So this is going to be an update really of 3 conferences that we had in India. So most of us that went, 3 of us are pastors, and so 3 of us that went on this trip to India are Living Faith pastors. So Dan Renault, you can go to the next slide. We started at Churla. Yeah, that's fine. We started with the Churla conference, and this is a picture of the guys that were on the team. So Dan Renault's the one closest there. He's the pastor at Living Faith Tampa. On the far end is Mike Renault, his brother. He's the pastor at Living Faith Boston. Did I say that wrong? What did I say? Dan is not in Tampa. Dan is in Lee Summit. And so Dan, Living Faith Lee Summit, Mike, Living Faith Boston, and then I'm next to Mike. The guy next to me is Joel. He's part of Dan's church in Lee Summit. And then Dell Thomas is next to him. Dell has been at Midtown and is now, him and his wife just moved to a new church that Midtown is restarting, Crest Bible Church, that's also in Kansas City. So this was our team of teachers, and we were teaching 3 different conferences. So we started at this church in Churla, small town, about 50,000 people, and just a sweet spirit at this church. You can go to the next slide. This is inside their new church building. So they used to have a much smaller space that was on the 2nd floor, but they were able, in the last year to 2 years, able to build this new space for their church. Pastor Samuel is the senior pastor there at that church, just a sweet spirit in this church. I really enjoyed our time there, just very simple people, but just sweethearts. You can go to the next. So the next conference was in a place called Kalaswarma. So we met at a hotel. This is in the hotel conference room. We met there because most of the pastors that came for this training were from churches in areas that are heavily persecuted. And so we couldn't go to them, because if we would have gone to them, we would have brought a lot of attention to their churches, and possible after we left would have brought them greater persecution. And so they all came to us, and we met in this conference center. These were all pastors. The first conference was at a church. This was actually all pastors that were coming. If you can turn the sound up, this is just sweet for them singing. Now. So this is the group, the whole group here in a group picture at the end of the conference. This was sobering, but also very encouraging to be with this group of men, and humbling. I felt honored to be able to open the Word of God, to teach things. So this is where I taught the book of Job, that we went through this last year. We taught all the wisdom books there to this group of pastors. Pastor Dan has been taking them through Old Testament survey right now. So we did the wisdom books of Esther, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and not Esther, sorry. Psalms, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon were the books that we covered while we were there. And so everything that we've been going through on Wednesday or Tuesday nights during our prayer, we covered in one session there. So it was pretty good. All right, the next conference was in Pettapalli. This is the main place where we stayed. This is at the house of Pastor Christodos. You'll see him in a picture here in a minute. But this is, again, a group of pastors that traveled to Pettapalli to have this conference at their house. You can go to the next slide. This is the whole group. They did a ceremony for us at the end and wrapped us in these beautiful scarves and leis made of flowers. It was really pretty. You can go to the next slide. This is me wearing a skirt that Pallavi gave me before I left that is from this area. So I haven't shown her this picture yet, but she gave me that. So I put it on and got a few pictures with it. You can go to the next slide. So this is Pastor Christodas. I'm going to show you, hold on, pause the video. This is him explaining some of what they do, the work that he's done. So Pastor Christodas has been used by the Lord to organize a lot of these churches and to be an encouragement to these pastors. So he's been doing this the last 25 to 30 years, going around just encouraging these pastors in a pretty large area. And he's telling how he used to travel. The roads didn't used to be there. This bridge that we're standing on didn't used to be there. And he used to have to travel by foot, by boat, by train, by bus, all kinds of ways to get to these pastors. And so this video is him describing a little bit of that. So you can play that with some sound. Yeah, you have to hit, there you go. Now, if you can restart it.
And because of that, these areas, 100 years back, missionaries, came from some part of the world, and they started a boarding here, and also a hospital for these all people who do not have a facility. And because of that, these areas not reached, but some parts reached, and they had a severe opposition, and that has been shut down. And my mom studied in that boarding until fifth grade. Wow. So she used to pray for Sirancha and this part. When God opened the door for me, I used to cross this river and go on the other side to meet one group of church planters in Maharashtra. From there, again, there is another river to go to Chhattisgarh. So cross another river. In between 32 kilometers, I'm not sure which vehicle I get or walk and go. But these journeys did not waste. And God gave this fruit, and these all guys were the result of that. Wow. So let's take one picture. Hey, picture.
I don't know.
All right, so that's good. You can stop it there. I love how Joel was taking a picture behind him as he was talking there. That was pretty cool. The reason I wanted to show this video is you guys are going to get to meet Christodas. He is actually going to come to the States in April and May, and is going to come to Florida and spend some time with us in early May. And so I wanted to show that video so you guys would know his face, because we're going to get to hear from him personally in early May. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, so from there, we went to the airport, and I got to see my old buddy Arvind. So some of you don't know, a lot of you don't know Arvind. Arvind was a USF student. We met him early on, and when we first came to Tampa from India, and his wife, who's also in the picture there, also came to USF. These were two of our early students that we invested in through FOI. Arvind, as far as I know, still hasn't placed his faith in the Lord, but I'm praying, and I'd ask you to pray for Arvind and for his wife. He got to meet Christodas, and they live about 4-hour drive away from each other, so they're not real close, but I'm praying that some ministry would be able to get reached to Arvind and to his wife, and that they would be able to come to know the Lord. So pray for them if you would. All right, next video, our next section here is Vietnam. Our time in Vietnam was completely different than India, in the sense that we weren't doing a bunch of conferences, although we did start with a conference there. They had their first missions conference, Mission Focus Vietnam, and so this was their first ever one. So we started on Sunday morning with them. Actually, sorry, Saturday night. If you can go to the next video or next picture. This is a picture at Pastor Andrew's house, where we met for a dinner and had some testimonies there. The next slide is the video I showed you guys, or I think Josh showed you guys this on Sunday, of the church waving to Living Faith Tampa, saying hello, saying how much they miss Sierra and asking Astrid to come visit them. And so it was really sweet. I got to preach on Sunday morning, as well as Pastor Mike Renault as well got to preach on Sunday morning there. And so that was a sweet time. You can go to the next one. So this is Sunday night. We went to a park for some evangelism. It was only the guys because the ladies stayed back as part of the conference for them. Dell's wife was with us there in Vietnam, and she got to speak to the ladies that night. And so the guys went out to do some evangelism in a local park, and while the ladies all met together. Next slide. This is the last night of the conference. Dan spoke on leadership that night, and then they all prayed over us. And so they sat us down. Instead of us praying for them, they all prayed for us. So that was really sweet for the church to pray over us. Next slide. This is beautiful. Where are you, Laura? This is Laura's mom and dad. Such a sweet surprise to be able to have them come. So I tried to reach out to them before I got to Vietnam about meeting up with them, and somehow the email didn't get through to them. So Laura connected with them, and then they reached out and wanted to come where we were. So this was at English Club. So every week or every other week they do English Club there and invite folks to come in. A lot of lost people come into the English Club night. And so Laura's parents got to join us for English Club night, and it just so happened that the topic that night was marriage. And so I got to sit in a small group with Laura's parents and talk about marriage. So that was pretty awesome. It was great to spend time with them again. So they send their love, Laura. All right, this is a picture of Living Faith pastors. So as I mentioned, Pastor Mike on the right from Boston, Pastor Andrew in Vietnam, me, and then Pastor Dan in Living Faith Lee's Summit. Next. All right, these are just some people from the church that you can pray for. Tony is the guy in the white. Tony is a growing leader. Next to him is Vu, also a growing leader. These guys were both there when I was there back in May, and they're continuing on. They're faithful and just growing in their walks with the Lord. Next. This is Christine. Christine's really close to Sierra, and we got to go see her graduation back in May when we were there, and she's continuing growing in her faith. Next. This is Simon. Many of you know Simon. She came out of Kansas City. She's originally from China, or from Hong Kong, but she is part of the planting team there. Next. And this is Jisoo. She's also part of the planting team. Came out of Midtown. Next. This is Nam and his wife Zoom. They are both, Andrew led Nam to the Lord. The park that we went to do evangelism while we were there is the park that Andrew met Nam in and led him to the Lord. And Nam is now one of their growing leaders, and him and Zoom got married last August. So they're a sweet couple. Next. This is Twin. He has been a part of the church, I think, almost since the beginning, right, Sierra? Pretty close to the beginning of when they started. Next. This is Mankit and Foam. They both came out of the church in Kansas City also, and are part of the leadership team there. And then here's the Ong family with their kiddos. And so Sierra's going to share more of the prayer requests, but she'll share some things that we can pray for the Ong specifically, but also Rachel in particular. Next. Okay, so this is a weird picture I took at the airport. So this lady that's right here in front of me, we were on a different escalator right before this picture, about 2 minutes before this picture happened. We were going down an escalator, and she fell down the escalator, and I had to catch her. And, you know, you just do what you can to catch people, and you know, not to get too specific, I had to grab places that I shouldn't have grabbed. And so she didn't fall all the way down the escalator. So this is a lady, I saved her life. I just wanted to put that on there. Next. All right, thank you for praying. for me on the trip. Thanks for you guys' support while I was gone. This was a blessing to be able to go on a trip like this. But here's my prayer request. I love to be able to go on a trip and come back and share these things. But here's what I'm going to be challenging us this Sunday with. I want these stories to be your stories. And so I want each one of you to be trusting the Lord for a trip somewhere in the world, even if it's a domestic trip. Be praying for each of us to get to one of these places that we pray for on Tuesday nights in our missionary prayer nights. For every one of us to be praying about getting to one of these places this next year. So we're going to be laying out some of these trips on Sunday. And so I want you all to have similar stories to be able to come back and share with our church body. Yes? Praise the Lord. All right. I'm going to have Sierra, Laura, Aaron, you guys can come up, and they're going to present some of the prayer requests specific for Vietnam tonight, and then we'll go to prayer for India, the group that I just shared about, and Vietnam after they're done.
All right, y'all. This is Vietnam. That's my part.
Okay, so we're going to start with praises. So, yeah, we'll go through each of these pictures. So, in September, they got to have their 1-year celebration, and so that was exciting and probably just great opportunities and sweet to see what the Lord has done in the year of them being there. Well, now, like, almost a year and a half. The next picture shows their all-church retreat. So they went to Dalat, which is like 7 hours from Ho Chi Minh. So they all like got on these crazy buses. Abhishek was sending me pictures and videos when they were on it, but it looked really cool, but also probably just insane. But they traveled 7 hours and they got to just go away together. I think Dalat is Nam's hometown. I don't know. It's one of their hometowns, but they got to go there and get away as a church body. And then the next one shows their Christmas service, which, yeah, they got to do a whole, I think, Foam put on a Christmas play, and obviously just gives opportunity for the gospel and to invite people. So I think that was their second year doing that. And then you just heard about the Mission Focus 2025. So the biggest praise from that, I mean, one, I think, or I guess two praises. One, it was an encouragement just having like all the pastors there. And two, there was one salvation, and so that's always something to praise the Lord for. And the next one shows Kong, which is, okay, so Andrew's disciple, Justin, I think it's the guy in the red shirt is Justin in the back, but Kong is the guy in front, and Justin got to lead him to the Lord, and that was recent, and so that's a huge praise. And then the next one is exciting. Nam and Zumi are pregnant, and so that is a big praise. And it'll also be a prayer request, just, you know, for healthy pregnancy and everything. But that is a huge praise. And then Enoch and Tekoa are finally recovering, and so that's like a picture taken a couple days ago of them. But they were very sick, which when Laura shares prayer request, you'll hear they've just been hit with all sorts of sickness. It's awful, and especially for the two young ones. And so they are doing much better, smiling. They were able to go on a walk. They were stuck inside and in hospitals. And so the fact that they were able to be outside together is huge. And then Simon, it's kind of a silly picture of her, but she has her 1-year visa in Saigon. And so that's huge. So now she doesn't have to make visa runs. So she can just stay put and not feel like she's about to get kicked out or have to go on another run. And so that is a huge praise. There'll be a prayer request that goes along with that, just in terms of her work. And then Vu, this next one, he got saved yesterday, I think, or like 2 days ago. So Andrew told me he is the king well, okay, the praise is he's saved, right? He got saved. But it's crazy because he's like the king of handstands in Vietnam, I guess. So he appears in like, I don't know, videos or all sorts of stuff. So he's some sort of known guy. Anyways, he got saved, and he also got to lead his girlfriend to the Lord. I don't know her name. But yeah, so that's 2 more salvations, and so that's really exciting. The fact that he did, you know, a growing guy or someone who we're going to pray can grow, but also his girlfriend, and praying that she'll get, you know, stay in with them and around and grow as well. And then the next slide just like summarizes all the praises. So if you want to take a picture of that, and then Laura's going to share prayer requests. So then you'll have the praises and the prayer request when we like break up into groups. Oh, and then 2 that weren't pictured on there at the very end. So Rachel's overall health, it's also a huge prayer because she's been struggling a lot. But she told me yesterday that she has had slow improvements. So she's had a little bit more energy and less headaches. So it's a huge praise that she isn't like digressing. But it is still also a huge burden because her health has just been a huge burden for her. And then also just new believers in general was that last point, and just praising the Lord for that.
Okay, so some prayer requests. Next Wednesday is the Lunar New Year Festival, which is also called Tet holiday. It's like the biggest holiday in Vietnam, so people usually travel back home to spend time with their family. So a lot of Living Faith Saigon members are saved, but their parents are not saved. So just pray for the trip there, just time for family. And also there will be persecution. Usually Vietnamese families are very against being Christian or any religions that is not like ancestor worshiping. So just pray for the opportunity to be bold and protection from persecution, like just in the church itself, like with their family, they have been persecuted before. Like Nam was at one point disowned by his family. So just for you to know like the extent of the, I guess, persecution there. And then for the health, like we mentioned, Tekoa and his brother like getting better, but just keep praying for Rachel to keep getting better. There's definitely like long-term symptoms there. And in Ho Chi Minh City, I think there's a measles outbreak, so it's airborne. Everyone's kind of start having to wear masks again, so that will kind of affect gatherings and overall just opportunities to reach people. So just pray for protection for their health, and for Christine to get a job closer so that she doesn't have to commute very far, and for Simmons to get more illustration work projects. And overall jobs that will allow members to be faithful at church and ministries. So in that prayer request, so Taylor and basically the Lions in general, since Abishai wants to stay at home, just pray for him to get a job that is better well paid, because like the salary that he has will require Abishai to work. And with Enoch and Tekoa keep getting sick and these expenses keep coming up, it's been a struggle for them to manage things financially. It's pray for my parents. The name is An and Nguyen. Yeah, just pray that the conversation about marriage was helpful for them. And they're also going to Malaysia actually today to get some visas. So just pray for safe travels. Andrew is from Malaysia, so he'll be able to spend some time with family. So just pray for sweet time there, and for them to be able to walk in the spirit with his family. And pray for opportunity with Andrew's niece, Caitlin, and also for Andrew's dad's salvation to be confirmed. And like Sierra mentioned, Nam and Zoom are gonna expect a baby soon. So just pray for safe travel to their hometown for Tet holiday. I don't think their families are saved. And pray for safe and healthy pregnancy. They're gonna have a checkup on Friday. And just for God's direction this season, for them to be able to grow in their relationship with God and towards each other. And pray for disciples to stay encouraged, post-mission focus. just to keep going with the work there and for overall focus and growth. And there are not a lot of new believers, but there's also going to be attack. So just pray for protection there and for fruit that remains. So this girl, Ngung, just pray that she'll be able to choose to put God first. I'm not really sure when she gets saved or where she.
It was a few months ago,
Yeah,
but she's just struggling, I think, to basically put God first and is choosing things of the world. But Andrew specifically mentioned her that she would choose to stick with it and not turn away. But you can take a picture of that one, and then that's all we had.
Hello. Okay, so we're going to take a season. Don't go to your next group yet. Let's all pray for Vietnam. And also, if you could pray for Pastor Christos and the work in India at the same time. And then we'll go into our final season of prayer after that.
Dear Lord, just thank you for all the things that you're doing in Vietnam, Lord, and just for using these faithful people there. And God, I just thank you for all the healing that you have provided, just for them to overcome season of sickness, Lord, and just for the fruits that you brought and all this new disciples, new salvation, people just making decisions for you, Lord. Just thank you for allowing them to stay throughout this past year and a half, Lord. And I know that there was a lot of issue with visa, but you have prevailed and you provided for them in all this time. I just pray that they'll be able to stay encouraged after mission focus, that they will just be on fire, just laboring for you, Lord, and just pray for this upcoming holiday to be a sweet time with family and protect them against persecution, but also allow them to be bold, Lord. God, I just pray that you be able to provide for your people as you're willing, Lord, as they continue to serve you. God, I pray that for jobs that would be beneficial for the ministry, for the jobs to be fishing holes, or for each of Living Faith Saigon members to be used mightily by you. God, I just ask for your protection over the new believers, for Vũ and for Vu's girlfriend, Lord, and for Kang. I just pray that they'll be able to keep walking in their new faith, Lord, and just protect them and help them to be steadfast. And God, I just thank you for everything that you're doing there. I just pray that you continue to protect the team there and provide for them and just help them to be used by you. And I love you, and I pray all these in your name. Amen.
All right, let's transition into our final group. So those of that haven't presented your missionaries yet, let's do that and go ahead and pray.
¿Por qué? Por todo. Por todo. Ajá, cierra. Y usted es la exclamación. Por todo. Usted es el punto de exclamación.
Señor, te damos gracias por hoy, te damos gracias por estar todos aquí reunidos en tu nombre, porque tenemos fellowship with one another. Te damos gracias porque te entregamos todos estos países por los que estamos orando. Te confiamos todo el trabajo que estás haciendo con los misioneros. Te pedimos protección para cada una de estas personas, cada una de estas familias. Te damos gracias por el crecimiento, por su fe y su fidelidad a tu palabra. Te doy gracias por Colombia, por todas las iglesias que están siendo plantadas y porque incluso están enviando misioneros a otras partes del mundo como Japón, Vietnam, London, entonces Perú también. Entonces te doy gracias, Señor, por todo eso, por ver que no estamos solos aquí en Tampa haciendo tu trabajo, sino que, Señor, tú tienes personas fieles en cada rincón del mundo, incluso en India, incluso cuando estamos expuestos a la persecución, Señor. Siempre hay personas que encuentran la forma de solo glorificar tu nombre y no parar y seguir. Te doy gracias por el pastor de India, Christopher, que va a venir a principios de mayo. Te doy gracias por sus 20, 30 años de estar solo llevando tu palabra y cómo vamos a poder escuchar y aprender de él. Te pido que hoy el FT esté solo super encouraged por todo el trabajo de los misioneros y todo lo que está sucediendo y que nosotros mismos, Señor, tengamos estas historias que contar, estas historias que mandar en un newsletter a todos estos misioneros de cómo aquí tu trabajo también se está haciendo. Te pido que en este año que venga nosotros estemos orando por nuestros home trips a estos lugares y podamos venir todos llenos de emoción, pero también de be sober-minded y solo traer prayer requests and praises en tu nombre, Señor. Te doy gracias por esta noche y sí, solo te pido de que estemos unidos en ti. Y te doy gracias por todos los ordenamientos que están siendo hechos en Kansas, aquí, por Josh. Y bueno, te pido por toda la familia Lefty. Te lo pido en tu nombre, en Jesucristo. Amén.
God is holding on. And when the night is holding on to me, God is holding on.
Mark says goodbye.